Hey, guess who? It's Lisa Ely, your Chief HR Profit Strategist. And I wanted to come in with part three. That's right, part three of this month's training series. And of course, we're talking all about Profit Amplified. But more than that, we are talking about AI and the specific things that I get asked the most questions about. I want to unpack that as much as possible. So, man, I've got some promises for you coming up soon in between this content and before we get to May. It is my level best to give you the answers to the questions that I've been getting as a result of this training. And so this has been a ton of fun. But let's jump in. But before we do that, I really want to know, like I always want to know, is where you're from, what your business is, what are the service or products that you put out into the marketplace, or what is the transformation that you offer your clients? So again, here at HR for Profit, which is part of the Purple Squirrel Group, we show small businesses and specifically accounting, fintech, accounting services, bookkeepers, tax preparation services, how to grow, build, and scale teams for profit. And one of the things that we do for our clients is we help you fill the gaps that you have on your team. And so we have some available talent right now. So if you have some gaps on your team and you're looking for someone that has specialized skills in accounting and finance and fintech, reach out to us because we may have the candidate for you. So getting to today's topic, right? Offer letters. Offer letters literally are a contract that you're making as an employer with a potential candidate. And offer letters in some shape or form, whether it is an offer letter for a full-time, a part-time, if you're like a client I was talking to today, if you're hiring an apprentice or an intern, they also get some sort of offer letter. It is a contract, and it is critically important that the contract is compliant, it is legal, it is ethical, but you're covered, but you're also explaining the base level things that are going to help the candidate, right? To understand where they need to be, what they need to do, what they're responsible to do, and the details related to what you're offering them in reference to a contract, employment, an internship, apprenticeship, or the like. And we may not do offer letters, and we don't recommend that our clients do offer letters for contracted or services, but a memo of understanding or an agreement is applicable. And sometimes there's a cover letter that goes with that as well. Now, we're not talking about that today, but if that's something that you want to learn more about, we are happy to do a session on that in another series later this year. Just let us know. So what we're going to talk about today is I'm going to tell you the power of AI is amazing. But again, I always want to caution you because AI is not the all end all to be all and does not have all of the information in particular. And AI is only limited to the prompt or the information that you're providing it. So keep that in mind. And so what I want to make sure that you're aware of is that by no means am I encouraging you to take this advice or to solely use AI to solve your HR or really any other problem. You want to make sure that you're engaging, that you're reading and reviewing and verifying and validating the information that you're getting from AI. It is critical because ultimately you as a business owner, as the HR professional, you're responsible for the output. You will not be able to say or call AI, if I could say this boldly, as a witness to defend you for whatever wrongdoings AI might have done. So keep that in mind. This is a tool to help you collapse time so that you can reach your goals sooner so that you can do more in less time. That's what you should use it as. But never just blindly take what AI says and just plop it into something and send it out. This is why you also need an HR professional that can help you with some of these things. So, what we're going to cover today is the future of recruitment, AI generated offer letters. And this is AI generating an offer letter, if I could say a draft of an offer letter. And discover how artificial intelligence is revolutionizing the way HR professionals and you as an entrepreneur, business owner, CEO of your small business can make it personalized, ensure that it starts out potentially being compliant, but to finalize that, you still need an HR professional. We're going to cover 3 things, okay? 3 things today. And so the 3 things we're covering is the fundamentals of AI integration into HR tactics as it's related to offer letters. We're going to review some critical elements of an offer letter that must be there and some optional things as well. And then we're going to clarify the ethical considerations, because anytime we use AI or artificial intelligence, it is critically important that you understand ethically the considerations. And again, I caution you, never just blindly accept anything directly from AI without double checking it. But this will also ensure that there is fairness, there is transparency, and there is an alignment with ethics in addition to Department of Labor laws in the federal, in the state, in the county, and your local municipalities. And from that standpoint. And of course, understanding what that is and having access to that information is sometimes something that only an HR professional can assist you with. And we assist our clients with creating templates and tools so that they can streamline their processes and spend more time on their zone of genius and not those things that really take up a lot of time, like offer letters, right? So let's dig in. And again, I see some of you dropping questions now. So thank you. We're going to address some of those questions. I see a question in the chat right now, and it's asking, so you're saying that AI is not a good tool. I'm not saying that AI isn't a good tool. It's a great tool, but you must use it in an ethical and a compliant way. And again, I've repeated this multiple times. AI is part of the solution. It is not a total and complete solution, because it is really complicated when you are putting a contract in writing to a potential employee. You want to make sure that it is correct, because again, AI, although it is such a powerful tool, and on many occasions it is completely accurate and right, but you want to ensure that that is the case, because you will not be able to call, if I can say, you will not be able to call AI as a witness to defend your organization. Should you be called to defend yourself because an offer letter of something was out of order or illegal, unethical, or violated a local, state, or federal law? And so AI will not show up for you in court to defend you. But we will here at HR for Profit. This is one of the things that we pride ourselves in doing, is that we will defend our decisions, and we will ensure that you are doing what is correct and right and legal and ethical within the law. How about that? So let's dig in. So I literally have, like, I looked this up and I'm so excited about like what I found. And so I want to share this with you before we go like a little bit deeper into what we're covering today. I want to share with you that I have an outline and 3 prompts, which I will share the details of the prompts with you. But if you want those prompts and you want the outline of the cover letter, that's right, it's one piece in our ultimate hiring toolkit, which you can also get as well. But I'm giving today, and my team is going to kill me because they're always saying I'm giving something away. But I want to add value. So I want to make sure that you have what you need. But if you want that, again, drop an offer letter, right? In quotes, offer letter in the chat. Like right now, drop offer letter in the chat. And we will get that to you, right? Drop offer letter in the chat and we'll get that over to you. Just drop an offer letter in the chat below and we'll get that to you. So one of the things that's critically important about offer letters, of course, is that you want to really understand what it is that you are trying to convey to the client. And so what is the form of the offer letter? And of course, nowadays, we do not sign, I'm going to say paper, ink. We don't put ink to paper anymore. So you need some sort of software or system to deliver the offer letter so that it can be signed electronically. And I'm not going to say what form you should necessarily use or process or system or tool online. There's many. We have some methodologies that we utilize for our clients based on how they want to operate. And when we handle the onboarding process, like we do for many of our clients, we take care of all of this and we preserve all of the appropriate documents that need to be part of an employee personnel file or a file in general to keep when you are hiring contractors. And so we want to make sure that we are tracking the online documents when it's viewed, when it's signed, and that we have a record that if we need to provide that documentation for some other legal authority, we will have that documentation. So that's the first thing I say. We are way past signing documents with ink and paper, right? So you must have some sort of online software to be able to electronically allow contractors and also future employees, interns, ambassadors, what have you, to sign their documents. We recommend that you start with a template. A base level template is really critically important. So there are some things that may be required based on your industry. There are some positions that require a background check, a drug screen, or other things. Those things and that information need to be present in that template. And the details of when and where the new hire, whatever their status may be, as a team member needs to show up on day one and the time, who they will meet with, and their contact information. It should also be coming from the person that they're actually reporting to. That is oftentimes helpful. And in addition to that, anyone else who needs to know or be aware of this new hire should be CC'd in the process. And when you're using an online system or tool, this makes it all possible and everyone can be communicated to appropriately. That doesn't mean that they have to receive an actual copy of the offer letter, but it can initiate and trigger other things in your online system. And so we work with our clients that when things are signed, that it will trigger information, emails, notices, text messages, whatever you prefer, based on how you set up new hires or new team members at your organization. And so this is the integration of the data and creating those records, right? In addition to that, it can also trigger something. The offer letter typically for the clients that we work with, it also triggers notifications, for example, to create a notice to go out to the entire organization. Maybe it's small, maybe it's larger, or if it's a wider group that needs to be aware that we have hired a new associate, a new team member is joining the organization so that they're aware as well. Maybe you have a habit of doing a press release It will also notify the group or the individual that's responsible for creating the press release, and also asking for any additional information that you may need from this new team member in order to initiate these things. You may need an additional or updated copy of their resume, a headshot, and other things. But all of these things can be electronically generated just from an offer letter. And so when we work with our clients, we map out that process, and we'd be happy to do that for you. And so you want to automate those rules on who gets notified, who actually gets the copy, and that it triggers. Maybe you need to send equipment or a laptop. Maybe you need to send access to systems or other things as well. But all of these things can be handled for an automation rules process that we will do with our clients. In addition to that, just creating the offer letter, right? This is way more than you thought that this was going to be. But just creating the offer letter is one piece of it. So if there are things before the person, the new team member starts, so maybe they need to initiate a drug screen, or maybe they need to initiate a background check, or maybe you need to initiate reference checks if your reference checks didn't happen before the offer letter. But this can also initiate some of those things and triggers in an automated system so that it runs smoothly. And when we work with our clients and they're really clear, and we help them become clear if they're not, on how it should work and operate. And so some of the things to think about, of course, is where this individual will be receiving any mail or information, having a valid email address, having a valid address for the person other than a P.O. box as well, overviewing the organization, the title, who they report to, some short details about the job description, their specific start date, any benefits that are associated with it, and also sometimes the next few steps to expect. And if sometimes those things can end up in spam, letting people know that as well. We also want to clarify the work hours. And so sometimes with some of our clients who have associates or team members that work different hours, they may work a different shift during the onboarding process than they do, or they will be normally working when they actually start and after they're onboarded. If your organization is an at-will employer, you also want to clarify that on the offer letter. You want to acknowledge the offer and confirmation process, and you want to ensure them that if there are things that are contingent, like a drug screen or a background check, you also want to clarify that. And then finally, there's one other thing that is so critically important. It is critically important that you establish a deadline. I believe it's important to have a deadline. That's right, a deadline, that this offer is not just open forever, right? So maybe the offer is for the next 3 days, 5 business days, 7 days, and expires on X day, which means that the offer will be withdrawn if they do not sign and return it by a certain date. And this is critically important, especially if maybe you're filling one position, but maybe you have someone else that could be a backup candidate, or you don't want to be in a position where the person just thinks they have till the end of time to respond to your offer as well. So it is important to have a deadline associated with that. And we have language in that template. If you want it, drop offer letter in the chat and we will provide it to you, right? And so what does a deadline do? It makes sure that it's efficient. It helps you with planning. It is professional. And you're clearly communicating your expectations of the potential team member. And then you also want to follow up as well to make sure that the individual actually did receive the offer letter electronically. That's also important. And so in the system that we utilize for our business partners that we work with does show if the person opened the email, right? Or they viewed the document. So those are some of the things to think about. So let's quickly talk about, sorry about that. Let's quickly talk about a little bit about the prompts, right? So do you want the prompts? So do me a favor, if you want the prompts, drop it in the chat below. I would love to share them with you. So one of the prompts is understanding AI in driving analytics and outlining an offer letter, excuse me, just for you, right? And so you can put in your information and drop it in, and it will generate an offer letter. In fact, we have the prompt that we'll give you that will use our template so you can fill in your information and have AI ask you the questions, and you just simply answer and give the answers, and it will come with a template you could just copy and paste. And again, we're happy to, if you use the prompt, if you drop it below and say offer letter, and you create a template, we will review it for you at no cost. That's right. We'll review it for you at no cost. And so I'm delighted to share with you in the few minutes that we've had together a little bit about how you can use AI generated offer letters to collapse time on making offers and to ensure that you literally are in a position where you can add the most value. And so, again, I encourage you to utilize AI, not just for business, but also for personal, so that you can collapse time and get more of your time back to do more amazing things with people that you love in your life, right? And so on the 30th, I want to give you a preview. I'm doing another session, and it is entitled AI Team Retention Strategies. In fact, I'm going to tell you, this is probably the number one thing that I hear from small business owners who already have amazing teams, that they're afraid to lose their team. And so we don't want you to lose your team. We want you to keep your team engaged and to grow. Don't forget, drop offer letter in the chat. That's right. I'm waiting for you. I see you. I see you looking in the chat so I can get the prompts to you and the outline for the offer letter that we'll review for you at no cost. And then join us on April 30th for AI Team Retention Strategies at 6 p.m. We can't wait to see you then. Take care. Bye for now. Lisa Ely, your Chief HR Profit Strategist. Until next time, make sure your profits are amplified. Amplify your profits. Take care. Bye for now.